Blog Talk Radio.
I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits. Today's show is titled, I Have 5 Income Streams. And why are we talking about 5 income streams? Simple, that you have to diversify today and not depend on one source of income. And for many people in the past, what that meant was stocks and bonds, investments, rental property, but today, because it's an online market, much of that has changed. Diversifying your income isn't as hard as you think. Here's how I move extra cash on the side. Want to reduce panic attack? For half of Americans, it's as easy as checking our bank account. Most of us lie awake at night paralyzed by our money woes, worried how we eat, pay our rent, and health care insurance if we're lucky to afford it. And although all the economic reports tout sky-high incomes, for most of us, we're only $400 away from hardship. Our debt is our warden. Our desire to live beyond our means is our prison. And for many of us, this occurred because in past generations, parents who basically lived at a time during the Depression, didn't have much, they wanted their children to have more than they had. So what would they do? Some of them had 2 jobs so that they could afford the income to be able to give their children whatever they wanted. But instead of teaching their children the value of working, what happened was, for many of them, all they learned was how to live beyond their means and not how to save money. And what you see in the way Trump is using the tariffs to squeeze out the Chinese government, what's really happening is that he has no concept of what that economy is like or the mentality of the people. And for them, what they do whenever they get money is they hoard it away. Therefore, when tariffs go up and expenses go up, they do not suffer the way he expects them to. But what he's doing is really squeezing out the middle class in America and creating a lot of things that will eventually fall back on the people. So you have to realize, if you look at history and you look at what worked and what didn't work, using tariffs is one thing that has never really worked. Now, our financial fragility is real. And if you first pump your biweekly paycheck, don't get complacent. We're a recession away from layoffs. Corporations remind you that they're part of a family until they have books to balance. All those trust funds, retreats, and branded swag give way to restructuring and realignment, which is a nice way of saying you're fucked royally. Now, there's a story that I tell about how different generations in the workplace. Now, the baby boomer generation, or rather their parents, the first generation born in this country, many of them went to work for the corporation. And they worked there 25 years. And after 25 years, they got a retirement party and a gold watch. And they were expecting to be able to live comfortably on Social Security because they paid the money in all those years with the idea that they were setting up an insurance policy that they would earn that money when they retired, and upon doing so, would live comfortably. Now, at that time, let's go back and say this, that their children, the baby boomer generation, followed their parents into the corporate world, and they expected to work for 25 years in the same way that their parents did, because at that time there was an unwritten rule that you had a job for life when you went to work for the corporation. But during the late 90s and the early 2000s, corporations bought out and offered buyout packages to the upper management and middle management people and gave them a 6-month severance pay. They continued to get their medical benefits, and it gave them an opportunity to see whether or not self-employment was for them. And I had a friend that she looked at self-employment, but when she realized that it just was not in her personality, then what she did was she went to work for a company at that time known as Mailboxes, etc., which has since been bought out by UPS. But what she did was she managed that location. So as you can see, when you look at today's job market, there are no guaranteed jobs in the corporation, and you're lucky if you stay there 5 years. Watch how quickly the indispensable becomes dispensable. If you're a successful freelancer with strong flow, don't rest on your referral laurels. Clients could vanish as fast as you can say, "Where's my last paycheck?" So that as you can see, what's happening is with this generation, we're now moving into self-employment for people who work from home. And it's got its advantages and it's got its disadvantages. And being a freelancer is important if you understand how to create opportunities for yourself and diversify your income. Because whether you're savoring the sweet joys of a consistent income at your 9 to 9 or content with the healthy referrals hitting your inbox, there's a simple way to hedge against money catastrophe, and that is to diversify your income. So, let me whisper these 3 words again. Diversify income streams. Establishing multiple income streams doesn't need to be daunting. It just needs to be strategic. Now, this isn't about juggling wildly random gigs. Rather, it's about dividing a pie, examining the work that you can, and finding ways to pursue it out and create standalone streams. Consider the logic. Every job or project has a defined set of components. All the actions you take to get from point A to point B, as well as your expertise that consistently taps. Imagine that you create a series of steps for the thing that you do and determine which of these steps can be blown out in its own hustle. This no longer has to be your life. Licensed from Adobe stock. And always remember this. Say that you're a copywriter for a tech startup. Well, you know what? Tech startups are where we are today. That you're seeing those companies, in essence, because technology is what's running the business. So, what you need to understand is how you can create multiple streams of income from just one thing that you do. Research, writing, and industry expertise are but a few elements that comprise your deliverability. Now, imagine that you are able to sell your knowledge in the form of consulting, research, and trend reports about the tech space. Or maybe you can create how-to writing guides or manuals for your clients, internal teams. Or you can teach how to create compelling conversion copy in a half-day workshop, or how to create compelling conversion copy. Or you can advise them on the publications and influences in the space that could be distribution outlet for your content. Or you can partner with a marketing team and work on everything from sales collateral and website copy. Or you can create an ebook or mini course teaching each copywriters how to up-level their game. The possibilities are endless. Your career is reliant on two factors: expertise and experience. Determine how you can sell your head or logical spin-offs on the deliverability, the thing that you make or create, and consider how and where you can distribute these offerings. You can sell how to know the thing and how to make the thing. Right now, I've got 5 income streams going. Now, here's something that before I really get into that I'm going to talk about simply because it's how things are done today. For instance, every business, every company, whether you're a brick and mortar store, needs to have an online presence. And one of the things that I see in questions on Quora are how to do affiliate marketing, or what's the importance of SE, or rather search engine optimization data and its importance. Well, let's look at it this way. You need to have multiple sources of income simply because when one isn't working for you, then something else is. Now, here's something else to think about. Now, whenever you have an online business, you have to think about digital marketing. That means having a website, creating content for that website, creating ebooks, because ebooks can be used through a sales funnel to actually generate leads. Then you have to have an autoresponder. And in that autoresponder, you can set up a series of emails where you can develop a relationship with your prospects to not only have them become your customers, but it can also be by building that relationship, get them to become repeat customers. And you can always upsell them for whatever things that you're doing. Now, I have and use Builderall, which is a digital marketing platform. can offer my e-learning courses. I can set up webinars. I can create magazines. And in those magazines, I can actually sell advertising. And if I don't print it out as a magazine, then I'm also creating my PDFs that I can use as ebooks. And if I want to and become a expert at it, I can do app development and sell that services to companies. So what you're looking at is a way to diversify so that you have multiple streams of income coming in. And that's important to understand. So right now, I've got 5 streams of income going. The first being consulting, and this is the bulk of my income, and where I charge a premium as a marketer. I offer 3 distinct services: brand platform development and strategy, customer ID, profiling and segmentation, and industry research. My average engagement is 12K. Most recently, I scored a 50K project. Why consulting? Because you know what? There are companies that, and each of us specialize in one thing, one specific industry, and one specific area. But say I'm working with someone that's putting together a company and they literally need a business plan, or they need to draft a mission statement. They need to understand where they're at, what their goals are, how to put those together, and how to make them all work. Freelance writing. I write everything from sales and marketing, collateral, to white papers and ebooks. If I created a brand platform for a client, they'll keep me on to work on materials. I also publish content on Medium behind the paywall and consistently pitch their standalone publications. This year alone, I've made $15,000 from writing on Medium. There are a plethora of articles about making money on Medium. I don't intend to write one of them. Here's the thing. If you go on Medium, you can get their Medium Digest. And if you partner with them and you write articles that go in their Medium Digest and people read it and they clap or they show an interest, then you get paid on it. So it's a source of income. Selling ebooks. For a long time, I considered creating courses and decided that I'm not built to deal with customer service and all the upfront work. However, I launched a freelancing ebook this year, a 198-page tactical how-to manual that included swipe files, video, and audio tutorials. I made around $4,900, or 98% of the sales came from my email subscribers. I have other ebook ideas for 2020. Here's the thing about ebooks and how diversifying is it can be an introductory. It can be as little as 10 pages. It can be as many as 50 to 100 pages. But the idea here being that by using ebooks that you are offering someone something for free, or in the back end, you can offer them a white paper or something that they need that will help you get their name. And then you can do an upsell and a downsell with one being an ebook and another being consulting services or personal coaching. So that what you're doing is creating multiple streams of income, and you're also creating an opportunity for people to see what you do and how you do it. And in that way, what you are creating is also an opportunity for people to see and get to know you. And here's the thing. In your emails, you create the story and tell them a little bit about yourself. And you can also pitch them. But what you want to do is make sure that you're giving them enough tips and tricks and things that whenever they get an email from you, that they will want to open it. Often, the problem is that for many people is they just don't see the value in an email unless, especially if you are doing nothing but sending them an email where all you are doing is pitching them to purchase something from you. So always remember this. It's usually a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 ratio of you sending them an email where you're giving them information that they can use, that you can show them that you literally understand what their problem is and how you have the solution to that problem. Because once you have the solution to the problem, then they will see value in opening your emails, and the higher your open rates, the more you increase and make sure that your emails are getting into the inbox as opposed to getting into the spam box. So always be aware of what you're doing. Consulting. For the past 2 years, I've dipped my proverbial toe in the one-on-one consulting model. I offered a weekend intensive or a month-long engagement where I helped create creative entrepreneurs build their brand, business, and IP. We have workshops where clients would bring their homework, and we would collaborate on creating solutions, frameworks, and tactical deliverabilities. I've done everything from assessing the viability of an agency owner's business model to showing a consultant how she could pivot to another industry through strategic marketing and through leadership. My minimum engagements are $3,000. Selling on Amazon, a Poshmark. I'm surgical about not keeping anything that I no longer need in my home. I'll sell books I've read, equipment that I no longer use, clothing that no longer fits, and I've made around $1,500 in the past year. So as you can see, that's another way that you can look at how you grow your business. Now, let's talk about how if you create an e-course, an e-learning course, and you have people who have actually purchased your products, then guess what? You can turn around and create that as an income stream, not only for yourself, but for the people who have bought your course, because they can then let their friends, their family, and they can help you with marketing. And then what have you done? You purchase or sell your products and paying them a percentage off of it, that when you look at it, even if it's a 50-50 or a 40-60, where they basically get most of the money, if you have 10 people doing this for you and you're paying them 60% and you're getting 40%, well, guess what? If you have 10 people, that's 40% times 10. As opposed, so when you look at it that way, then by offering them the bulk of the profit, then you're increasing the opportunity that they will go out and help you market it by writing content for you, by setting up their own website, by using their email series and autoresponders so that it's not just you. So that what you do is you're literally having a sales force of people. And let's look at it this way. If you go into a real estate office or into certain types of retail stores, that many of their sales force may have a set salary, but they also have a commission structure set up that commission structure encourages them to go out and generate more income. Then what happens is if their income from the commission is higher than the salary, then they have increased your income and they're earning a better income. So that what they're doing is they're putting more effort into helping you build your business. So I grew up poor, so I knew what it's like to open the fridge and see a stick of butter and a bag of potatoes. I know what it's like to sell your possessions on the street, which I did once when I was a kid in my late 30s. I was crippled by anxiety and debt. There was a time not too long ago where I substituted on oatmeal and ramen for 2 months straight. I knew what it's like to suffer the downturns, and I knew the survival of my sanity would benefit from career planning, from not being frightened to go on my clients' losses in their budget or my ebook blogs. So whether you want to have some semblance of financial stability or you want to make some extra income, consider all the ways that you can package your expertise and sell it for yourself. And remember, it's up to you to determine your income. This is something that I think few people even think about because they're so used to the mentality of going to work for someone else and working 9 to 5 and trading dollars for time and not understanding even, this is something that I've even seen on Quora, where people will ask questions about, is this debt? Is that debt? But you know, what's happening on the internet, if you understand how to harness it, then you can increase your income and you can create opportunities for yourself that you may not have had previously. And remember, you can go to my website, and that website is the #1, personalcareercoach.com. And you can sign up for both individual and group coaching. And we can sit with you and help you put together a plan on building financial security for yourself.